Who were we talking to the other day about fucking like when you're talking to the little kids, like what word you use for that? Like my go-to is wiener. Like when I say to my kids, I'm like, yo, get your hands out of your fucking pants and stop playing with your wiener.
My boy loves to say nuts. My nuts.
Like, I don't like when people are like, oh, which little pee-pee? No, not pee-pee. It's a fucking wiener.
I don't know what I say. Penis?
What's your go-to?
I don't really talk to a lot of little kids.
Especially about penis,
you know.
right?
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
Being a, 42-year-old man without any kids.
What do you think? What's your which way do you lean?
Depends who it is. Salami, hammer, schlong.
That's amazing to say to a little kid.
Yeah. And that like resonates with them. They know what you're talking about when you say hammer to like a fucking 7-year-old kid.
Hammer time. Ikram. Sausage.
Wow.
American Gentleman. That's where you go.
Yeah, Mike
Comangian?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait. Is that how you say his last name?
Comangian, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, he's still. I thought that did he move to North Carolina then move back?
No.
I don't think. It's
Yeah, he just moved his location.
Not Mike Comangian?
No.
Yeah, me and Mike got pretty tight because it was like my best friend was getting married in Greece, and I'm like, I'm gonna grow a mustache for the first time. And any good mustache I seen, he's like, oh, I go to American Gentleman. So like me and my 3 buddies
It's like
were
a
all
club?
me and my buddies were all gonna grow it out, and I committed to it. I like put me in your book every Friday.
Nice.
And like 3 weeks into it, these guys shaved their stash. I'm like, I'm committed to this, So I grew up a handlebar mustache. I grew this part out. It was like,
Oh, not what you're doing right now. You're doing it again.
no, I wouldn't never go that thick again. I was like,
He had a mustache for a while.
that
He was
was
rocking
work.
it. We got
That
some
was work.
pictures.
Well, you gotta like train it a little bit, right?
oh yeah, it's full blown. You got a bush on your face. You got to wax it
So going there every week, what's he doing? Just trimming it up?
He just knows how to trim it right.
Lining it up.
Yeah, Like
Barber's
today,
an important part of your life.
well, now that I have no hair, I do the straight razor shave. He doesn't do that anymore, so I go to the Russians. But if I'm gonna grow facial hair out and get it cleaned up,
You have somebody else do that on your head?
I like to do it. It's kind of like part of my self-care routine.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, I find that relaxing. But for the most part, I'll do it myself. At least once a week, I'll do it.
They got a lot of new contraptions to like shave your head with. I get served them up all the time on.
You got a good head of hair, man.
Yeah, I'm sticking with that.
My hair looked exactly like yours before I was with a Latina.
Oh, all right. That'll do it. That's a good warning.
2 years, I was completely bald. The stress level was through the roof. Yeah.
It's a good warning.
That was good. That was a good fucking segue. I was still thinking about mustaches.
You say mustaches?
You know what I was thinking about as I was just driving back here is when we were at your house that day and this guy spilled that entire salt container all over those mushrooms.
And we were fucking
The lions
so high. And this guy hands me fucking, he makes us like these nice, like special mushrooms, not like drug mushrooms, like food mushrooms, like the kind you eat. I never had them before. And he hands me like this thing of sea salt, and I'm like, and the thing opens, and the whole fucking thing goes all over his kitchen table.
The lion's mane, those things are good, man.
They were.
Yeah, those they got like special properties in that, man.
What's your like pillars of nutrition? What are you standing on these days? Like I was thinking about that.
Me?
Yeah, like what do you go for like the food world?
Honestly, man, I'm like an all or nothing person. So like over the past couple weeks, getting this gym together, I've been eating everything and anything. I probably had about 150 slices of pizza dipped in blue cheese in the past 8 weeks. But I get to a point where like,
so you're not standing on any pillars right now.
Once I go over like 255, it's like I am mentally and physically so disgusted with myself.
Yeah.
I shift. When I say like it's time, and I start getting up at 4:44 every day, like I become like routine, and it's like mental warfare for like 3 weeks. And then
255 is your number for that?
That's when like I have a little trouble breathing, That's like I like to be under 220. I want to live under 220. But if I wasn't a trainer, have to hold myself accountable for clients, I would be over 300 easy. No joke.
That's interesting.
Easy. So like,
Yeah, nobody wants a fat trainer.
no, you can't.
But they're out there.
They are.
They're out there.
Yeah, it's.
How do you get away with that?
Safe.
I feel like there's more. Megan's not gonna like this.
Yeah.
There's more fat female trainers than there are
Don't love that.
fat male trainers.
Wow. Overweight, I'm pretty sure is the word. Like fat, you just don't say fat these days.
Yeah,
Because you got to land the F and the T when you say it,
The T really slaps.
Yeah. Don't do that.
in reality,
You said that about somebody the other day. You fucking you hit it. I don't forget who it was, but you said it and it came out like a machine gun.
I said somebody was fat?
I believe you did.
you never knew.
I know
how
who it is.
far
I know who it is. I'm
someone's
not
come.
gonna say
Like
it.
probably a lot of these overweight trainers, they're probably much bigger
Yeah.
and a transformer. But reality of it is that there's not many trainers out there today. Most of these people today are straight up entertainers. You know, anyone could go get certified, or everybody and their mother is a trainer nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in it 23 years
In the trenches.
where this is what I do for a career. You know, there's very few people who make it to that level, especially guys.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause they don't know how to keep it professional. They don't have the discipline, you know, to not, you know,
I know what
get
you're
sexual clients. And, yeah, it's hard. And honestly, it's a tough business.
That's
That's
thing.
crazy.
That's the thing, huh?
you got to be disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, like
Like she left me for the trainer. That's a common thing.
That took
Because-
place of the pool boy.
you got to
Back
build
in the day.
trust with your clients.
Yeah.
And once you have that trust, most people don't know how to differentiate, you know, like that. Or most men, from whether watching all porno or whatever it is, they don't know how to put a woman like on a leg press and not like think of their vagina or something like that. You know, like it takes years of practice to really be professional.
Yeah.
And plus my trainer, like the first time I was into it, the guy, Steve Mahalik, I was stretching out a client, my client's wife. I was stretching her out. This is my third week as a trainer. And I was 23. He comes, pulls my ear, almost rips it off. He's like, get in my office right now. I said, what the hell are you doing? He says, do not ever stretch your clients out. Man, female, that is not your job. You could stretch with them, you know, but you don't want to put yourself in that position.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. And they told me this. You never mix business with pleasure, you know? No girls under 18, no this is blah, 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 and all these things that I really took to heart, and I followed that. So I'm going on 23 years, and I could say that I've always kept it professional.
You're saying, but in the trainer community, it's a big thing.
Yeah, you got a lot of men who don't have integrity.
Only men.
Well, that's how the porno starts. With
Most.
stretching.
Most, you know, and just very few people are professional.
Yeah. You could see it.
Yeah.
It's easy to cross the
And
line in that situation.
It's sad too because, you know, people are trusting you with their life, and you could have such an impact on every aspect of their life and those around them. Just got to keep it professional.
I feel like very few people are professional in anything.
It's probably the same way in the massage business too. Somebody
mean?
tells you that they're a masseuse. I'm sure in the back of the head a little bit, it's like, how many times have you been like,
Happy ended it.
yeah, like
That's it.
I'm
You
saying that
think
you
that?
have to have the integrity of, you know, doing your job correctly.
Yeah.
It's an intimate thing.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's like a tabooed profession, you know?
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
Definitely.
Like the guy that owns the cold punch place that I go to, he's like a legit serious masseuse.
Right.
But, you know, it's like, you know, it's tough.
Finding a good massage therapist is tough in general.
I can
Just
see
like
that.
finding a good trainer, you know?
In the training world, like the crossover where like guys train girls and girls train guys, it's more guys training girls. I think a lot of men have like female trainers. Like you see that often?
I would say more men have men trainers, but a lot of men would prefer a female trainer.
Really?
You know, I was at Fitness Incentive, you know, for going on 16 years. And there's many men who I would see on the floor training with a female. I'm like, oh, what's that? No, they would request a female for whatever reason.
Interesting.
From time to time, I pop into Crunch in Amityville. That's like my auxiliary gym.
Yeah.
And I see that. Like I've seen that more now than I've ever seen it. And I'm always like, that's different. It's not something, and it's usually older guys.
Yeah. And all,
But that kind of makes sense though.
what it comes down to, too, most men don't want to take direction from another. Most men are not willing to learn
direction from another
or
man.
be coachable. You know,
It's
most adults
bad
do
thing.
not want to learn. They want to confirm what they already know over and over and over. And
That's very true.
I really train people. You know, like we're getting in, we're getting out, we're getting the job done.
Yeah.
Most people, it's more a social thing. You know,
How'd you get into it?
man, I got into it. I redshirted from lacrosse, and I had.
What does that mean? I'm not a sports guy.
Well,
knows
you get a
what that
4 years, and when you redshirt, it doesn't count as a year of eligibility. And I joined the gym in Farmingdale. I had just had my first knee surgery. My calf was all atrophied. I go there and I see this 55-year-old man with his sweatpants lift up with like these diamond-shaped calves. And I was like, whoa, how the hell did you build calves like that, man? I said, look at my leg. You know, he's like, you got to go up on the ball of your feet. You know, you go on your big toe, squeeze up top. He's like, why don't you meet me here 5 a.m. tomorrow? And I thought he was joking. I didn't know who this guy was. I met him, put me through like a 15-minute session. I never felt my hamstrings or back develop like
And
that.
this all started because you looked at his legs and you're like, that's a pair of fucking calves.
It's checking this guy's calves out. Jesus. I've never seen calves like that. Look like a superhero. And he ended up being my mentor. He was a former Mr. America, Universe, USA.
Wow.
And I learned more than 2 weeks with him than I did in a 4-year degree.
Wow.
Yeah, most of the stuff that they teach you, you don't apply that. You know, a lot of the stuff with the book. So he was real hands-on. You know, trained every type of person from pro bodybuilder to athlete to housewife, and just his approach, everything that he had said to me worked. You know, it worked, and he was a pretty incredible guy.
People like trainers fall into like a groove in terms of who they train. Because you're saying he's like kind of like diverse in training different people and like that.
Yeah, he
you want
would
to be well rounded.
He trained high volume. He would take matter, energy, space, time, condense it in a short, brief training, get you conditioned. Well, most people don't want to work that hard, you know. So I took those aspects and slowed it down a little bit, and then connected it with the breath, where we're not killing ourselves, we're stimulating the muscle. You know, not annihilating it, and bringing people, challenging people each and every session, but not killing them. And that goes against what a lot of, you know, people, bodybuilders and stuff.
Well, yeah, there's
learn.
like the whole aspect of like you got to work yourself to supreme soreness, and
That's not true.
It's not true.
Soreness is no indication you work the muscle properly. Soreness is a lack of oxygen.
But it's for a lot of people, and for a long time, even myself, like that would be the metric of success. Like
That's
the
bullshit.
next day, if you're not sore, you don't feel as though you got a good workout.
Amateurs train to get sore
Yeah.
and break a sweat, right? When you really understand it, you don't want to be sore. You want to have a good response to the muscle. And that's the thing. There's a big difference between working out and training. People who work out, they want to get sore. Amateur trainers, the first, oh, you sore. Oh, you're not sore, I'm not sore. Bullshit. It's like you want to communicate a message.
Sure.
Right? Get as much oxygen to the muscle. It's like, put your hands around your neck, squeeze it tight, talk to me. You'll get the message across, but the next day you're going to be sore. Your neck is going to be sore. I want you to speak clearly to me. You know, get the message out, get good blood flow, get good oxygen, communicate the message in a way that is more effective than strain. Life, we have enough strain. You don't want to bring in the gym. When you go into the gym, it's like, shift.
It's not sustainable when you're just fucking pounding the shit out of yourself.
And
you
I
can't
want
do that for a lifetime.
No, I want to be doing this for life.
Yeah.
You know, life. Not, oh, we're not going to kill it. No, we're going to train effectively, efficiently. You know, not, you know, what'd you do this weekend? No. What'd you eat?
Megan's dipped a
pre-workout?
toe into the trainer pool. She's fucking around in that life.
Oh yeah, Meg, how's it
I
going
know.
for you?
I mean, I don't do anything with it, but I got the NASM certification last year, 2 years ago. I
Okay.
was thinking about coaching Orange Theory for a minute.
Oh, nice. So that's, from what I understand, that's bringing a lot of people to training. You get a good combination of the weights and the cardio.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good intro point for a lot of people, I feel.
Nice.
Your wife likes it, right?
Yeah, she does. She loves it actually.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
had a lot of clients
It's
for
nice.
a long time. Like you got like lifetime clients, or
Yeah, I got a few clients I've been training over a decade.
that's awesome.
You know,
Oh, wow.
most people who train with me, they stick with me.
That's great.
You know, or if they go elsewhere, eventually they'll come back. Because I've made a lot of mistakes over the past 22 years. So in the past, I didn't know how to work someone into it. And now I do, and I have it down to a science. And if people are willing to trust me, they're going to get life-changing results from every aspect: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, social, financial. But most of all, I love it. I love it. I grew up a single parent with a single parent mother. I love to get moms strong. I love the whole thing.
Kurt does too.
People, the language that I hear people say about them getting older and stuff like that, I like to change the story.
Oh, everybody's negative about everything, man.
Yeah, I change it. You're not to speak negatively in my space.
I got a good story about you and being positive. When I ripped my shoulder off, I don't remember. We were at that place, Industry, in Huntington.
Yeah,
I had the sling. I think it was before I had the surgery, and I bumped into you, and you. I don't know what the fuck you said to me, but you fucking breathed in real deep. You fucking you made me pick my shoulders up, and it was at the right moment because I was like, oh man, I got to go get surgery. I've never had surgery. I'm all in my head, and you were just like.
That was the first time we met. Yeah, I remember.
And it was cool. It was like he did like a Jedi mind trick on me.
Because I see it.
I raised my fucking head, my shoulders up and everything. I'm like, hey, he's right, man. He's right. It's all good. Just got to keep going.
And I remember you were a little slouching.
I was slouching.
Hey. I was like, you mind?
Mentally, I was slouching.
A lot of times now in the past, I'd be like, dude, fix yourself. What's the matter? Now I actually, mind if I share something with you? And I'm like, just pick your shoulders up a little bit. Retract your shoulder blades. Lift your chin up a little bit. Stop slouching. You want your shoulder to heal? You got these muscles here. These are things, I see. But most men would be like, oh, take it personal. You told me I got bad posture.
No way,
So a lot of times I keep my mouth shut. But you had good energy. The first day I met you, we connected.
Right back at you, kid.
It's a super rewarding profession, man.
It is. It's difficult too because you really have to. You're held to a higher standard, and most of it's very early mornings.
Yeah.
For most of my life, I started training people at 5 a.m. So
That's
if you want to get your own training in, you're waking up real early. And then there's a big break throughout the day, and then you work night. So it's tough when you have a family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you have to love it. You have to love it. I was told, very young, do what you love, and the money will follow. I was like, I like to train. Would you ever consider training? So I went, I always wanted to be a cop, but then after I finished my 2-year degree in criminal justice, I transferred to Adelphi, and I took health and fitness instructor. And took anatomy and physiology. I was glued to it. Glued to it. And then when I was a young kid, the only time I'd really be focused is when someone would put a barbell on my hand or something. It gave me laser focus,
It's cool.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, well, I remember you early on because we used to go to Fitness Incentive over there. And I lost 100 pounds going there. And you would always you didn't know each other, but you would always walk by. It was probably, we were what, 26? Something like that. Yeah, it's almost 18 years ago. I remember one time because I lost a shit ton of weight. I was
2008.
100 pounds. That's great, man.
And then I remember one time you walked by and you were like, "You're getting lean." I got to do that again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't hesitate to say something to people, but as I started getting older in the gym, it's you got to be careful.
Yeah.
People think you're hitting on them. It's
That's
nothing I can really say that doesn't come off perverted.
Wait, do you know about the fucking thing with the women in the cell phones and how they catch guys maybe
I don't know how
Megan,
real
you know
that
what I'm
is.
talking about?
That
Explain
guys
it.
take videos.
No, the girls are taking videos
Of themselves and a guy's looking at her
okay.
and then she freaks out why are you
Catching
looking
a
at me?
reaction.
You know what I mean? This is a whole thing.
Just the cell phones in the gym in general is.
I was gonna say that.
It's horrible, man. I'm so glad that I grew up, when I did. Well, pretty close in age. Which really fortunate, man.
It's rough when you go to the gym and somebody's sitting, and you're waiting to, rotate yourself in, and a guy's just sitting there, or girls just sitting on their fucking phone and they're texting and shit, and you're like,
Or filming themselves.
that's
a big thing.
Another few
that's
weeks,
rough.
I'll never have to worry about that again
My life's
because
awesome.
I'll have my own space. It's been a long time in the works and all private training.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have the cold water tank in there.
What I love about the gym, like the public gym, and it's for a long time I hadn't gone to it, like, but for some reason I got a membership over there, and like I do legs and shit over there. But it's like a social experiment. A public gym is like a social experiment. Like the amount of hysterical shit that goes on at a gym, and the weird things that people do. I may have said this on one of the podcasts. I know I told Megan about this, but I'm there. I go to the bathroom. And there's this old man, got to be about like 70 years old. And he's standing. You ever been to Crunchy Amityville?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Big, huge. I mean, the old Dolphin, Big Al's. Huge bathroom. Like, not even like a small. And this is old man standing at the fucking mirror. Like, and like there's like 5 sinks. So it's completely naked with a face full of shaving cream. Just fucking shaving. Completely naked, and there's like 20 people probably went in and out of that bathroom, and like
so many naked dudes.
I know.
It's out of control.
And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck is going on in that guy's head? Like, who is this man? He must be Superman. Like, who? Just like this, no fucking nothing. Just
living his life, man.
completely naked, face full of shaving cream. Fucking blew my mind. I'm like, blew my mind.
Next thing you were doing the same
Next
thing.
thing you know, we're standing next to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an intimidating space. So to hear a story like that, guys real comfortable like that, like it could be a real intimidating spot, you know, like let that guy just do his thing.
There's so many funny things that happen in a public gym, I think.
Oh, man.
I see so many things that just fucking crack me up.
It's ridiculous. And it's hard for me to, like, when I'm working with someone, to block out all the nonsense going on, you know? But yeah, it's interesting how the fitness industry has changed over the years. You know, when I started this, there was no CrossFit.
Yeah,
You know, my trainer used to call it intensity insanity.
I remember
You know, nonstop action. And you know what's great about CrossFit and all these other muscle endurance type places is it has brought so many women to bodybuilding. You know, which I call body. I say bodybuilding because it's weight training with a purpose.
Sure.
Now, when these people are our age, they will never be training like this again. So it's going to bring more and more people to my style training. It's real controlled, intentional, basic bodybuilding movements, working off a lot of machines.
You're saying that the high intensity stuff is not sustainable as you age?
Some of those movements are so
Especially like the Olympic fucking
listen.
That stuff.
I love the power cleans and a lot of the Olympic movements, but when you're locking out, it's going to take a tremendous, you know.
Hey, you're ripping your joints fucking apart.
Once I was 3 knee surgeries deep and tore my adductors off the muscles, shoulders back, in constant pain. You don't want to be in constant pain.
No.
You know, you're trained to get strong, so you're not feeling like shit. You know,
Yeah.
but it brings a lot of people. It brings good camaraderie, holds people accountable.
What have you seen, like over the years, like the things have come and gone? Like what are the things that just always hold true?
The basic movements that stand the test of time and work. Eating good whole food, not these crazy diets. You know, the mindset, the champions mindset. So really just the basics that work, you know, the basic bodybuilding movements, squats, presses, rows, dips, curls, training and control. And, you know, I love how everybody's into the cold water and stuff like that now, which I did this years ago. People, you're crazy. You know, but, hey, my body feels great after.
Certainly does.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you really think about some of the crazy shit there's been over the years, you know, like...
Well, definitely crazy diets.
And like contraptions and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like what's the fucking this thing?
Oh, the Thigh Master.
Yeah.
Wait,
Thigh Master.
you remember the fucking shake weight?
Yeah.
My mom had one. Yeah.
That's what. Wait, what, have you ever seen the jaw thing?
No.
You never seen the jaw? You know what I'm talking about? Jaws of size?
Yeah.
You fucking chew on it. It like makes you get like a fucking they say like the actors in Hollywood use it.
You got facial muscles that are not worked.
Yeah.
You know, I have a neck machine that trains my facial muscles. People are like, what do you train your neck for? Well, you train every muscle, but the muscle that holds your head up. And then plus,
I've thought about buying the iron neck at least fucking 10 times. Never got it though.
Listen, if you use that properly, you know, slow and controlled, dementia is up like 60%. Alzheimer's in young people our age. Like, it's a lack of oxygen to the brain. You know, so you want to train your head, your neck, especially with the cell phone. Everybody's walking around with a chicken neck. You know, like pick your head up, get your shoulders back. You know, but you know they don't have neck machines in most commercial gyms because people will be training like a fool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Once you fucking start, you can't stop. That's the one thing too. You know, like you just can't stop. I've been 4 months not doing anything, and like I just got a DEXA scan this weekend. Lost 12 pounds of muscle in 4 months.
So you need that accountability.
Crazy. It's crazy how fast it just goes away. You know,
You need that accountability when people are getting a result. They get motivated. The only way you stay motivated is getting a result.
yeah.
Keep
You're
on
right over
changing
there?
the goalpost.
Yeah, there's like a strobe light of sunlight happening in this room, so don't mind me.
It's the angels
I know.
letting you know. That it's
I
all
saw
good.
a video recently that you guys might have seen, and it was, I actually think I shared it, but it was something about like the movements that you do weightlifting in your 20s, 30s, 40s are those basic movements you were talking about that, you know, when you're picking up groceries in your 70s or your grandkid, or you want to be able to go on a 2-mile walk. Like those are the things
Yeah.
that you're training for.
Mm.
And it was such a powerful video because like so much of what we do is for vanity and, you know, aesthetics when you're younger, but really it's for function when you're older, which is cool.
You know, there's no one who doesn't feel better when they look better.
Yeah.
So, you know, first and
Also that.
foremost, overall health, you
It's
know,
a balance.
injury prevention. But I want people looking their absolute best, you know?
Well, it's like you said, it's like if you do it, like looking good is going to be a byproduct of doing the right thing. It's just the perspective.
Absolutely.
It's the perspective is what I think is just hard for human beings in general. I think human beings are not built to think in terms of long-term thought process. Like everything is like these little bite-sized, like, I got to get in shape. Or I got to get in shape for this wedding, or I want to get in shape for summer, or I want to hit this certain weight. Or, you know what I mean? I got to lose weight, or I got to, people, that's just how we're built. It's how we think. Whereas like, we don't think like, I need to adapt this practice as part of my life so I can have a better life over the course of the rest of my life. Like that's such a giant concept
Yep.
that is not very easily adaptable to the way our brains work. But that's what it is that you have to achieve. You got to like make it to where this is just something that I do.
I tell people their life depends on it.
Yeah, sure.
The quality of your life depends on it. You know, don't wait for something to happen, you know?
I feel like this is an intervention for me.
I
feel like you're all
We've been
talking about me.
Yeah.
This guy hasn't said a word.
I'm gonna shrink under this desk in a minute. Where'd Kurt go? Oh, he left about an hour ago.
He went and drove his car into fucking oncoming traffic.
He's at Carvel
Just
right now.
murdered himself in the back room.
He's on his 16th chalupa.
Yeah, he's hitting every
Yeah.
fast food joint on the way back to Lindenhurst.
No, we've been trying to get Kurt going, man. I don't know. Maybe you got some fucking words of wisdom
He
for
doesn't
this
have to say
guy.
anything. Everything he's saying is right. I'm just not doing it.
Where does a guy like to start?
You start with very, very basic movements. Not putting a barbell on your back, sitting down, standing back up. And learn how to do that, connecting your breath without locking out your joints. And then, you know, just be mindful every time you sit down in a chair, you plopping, you sit down, or you engage in your hamstrings, going down a little slower. And just,
No, I'm going down slow because everything hurts.
You a plopper, Kurt?
yeah,
Going
just,
down slow 'cause
Hurts
everything
you
definitely
start
hurts.
just by
He's a
drinking
plopper?
more water, you know, correcting your posture a little bit, changing the story up. You know, the reason why you're not into training and exercise is probably because there's a lack of knowledge and confidence in that level. But once you start learning the basic movements and you're consistent, you'll be like, oh my God, how did I not do this? But most people just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And once you start to learn these things, it just changes everything. You know, listen, I know what it's like to feel like shit, you know, and your body start to lose you. But this is the only thing that we truly own in our life, is this body. You know, people will take care of their house and their car, but they won't put their body first. And when you take care of your body, every aspect of your overall health improves. your relationships, everything.
Yeah, it's true. It makes everything
And then
better.
as fathers, it's like, what kind of example are we setting for our children?
Yeah.
It's
You're
just,
really fucking. You're getting them fucking everywhere.
our life is now, brother. Life is now. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody brought heroin to this episode.
Jesus.
Kurt needs a weed water.
I need a weed water quick.
I could use one of those.
Calm
too.
me down. No, it's the
Yeah.
truth. You're speaking the truth.
The Lindenhurst boys. Lindenhurst. Yeah.
What was the gym in Lindenhurst on Hoffman Avenue?
Gold?
No.
fucking
All natural.
Yes.
all natural gym. Yeah, those are the old days.
That place had a smell to it.
Those were like you were getting roids in the bathroom. Like you were just fucking going in there getting poked, coming out,
Is that still a gym over there? No, can't be.
Is-
doing
So-
300 sets of bench press and leaving.
How much was a gym back then?
Probably like $12 a month. You know what I mean? Something
Oh
really
my
cheap.
God.
Lindenhurst. What was it like growing up in Lindenhurst, fellas?
It
Ooh,
was
it
great.
was fucking great. A lot of
I
beers.
loved it.
A lot of good music.
A lot of beers.
A lot of beers, a lot of bad habits.
A lot of Budweiser.
A lot of girls named Tina with tribal tattoos.
A lot of dudes with tribal tattoos.
Definitely a lot of dudes with tribal tattoos.
A lot of that. A lot of that. It's funny, the dynamic between Lindenhurst and you're from Babylon, right?
I'm a straight up Babylonian.
Yeah. It's a funny
Yeah.
dynamic.
It's a very funny dynamic.
Yeah.
Because
Like
like
that-
we're homies, but there's a competitive nature.
Oh, yeah.
It's crew, but it's also competitive.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And also,
Absolutely.
like,
And like
this-
we're a little dirtier and scummier. You guys are a little bit
That's
more
what I
on
was
the
gonna
fucking.
say.
You guys are a little bit more upscale.
We would collide at Gilgo Beach. But it's funny, like everybody here is like, I'm from Babylon. Oh, grew up with money. I grew up with my mom in a 1-bedroom until I was 10 years old. I was probably one of the poorest kids in Babylon Village. But growing up in Babylon was the best because I could skip out to Manhattan as a young kid, be in the heart of Manhattan in 1 hour, or I could be to the beach in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
the greatest.
and then the village of Babylon.
Babylon Village is, for our era, that was the spot.
Oh, man. And then
that was the fucking
growing
spot,
up in Babylon, 7th through 12th is all in one school.
Oh.
which is insane.
So it's like you're influenced in a way, but it's like,
everybody knows everybody.
yeah, and as bad as you hear about Babylon School actually had some amazing teachers and coaches and sports programs. And I'm very happy to grow up in Babylon.
Is the bad school thing recent or when we were young too? I don't
wasn't
remember
like-
that.
It was like
there was
teachers
definitely some
fucking kids,
inappropriate
right?
behavior with teachers that, and
It's a guy we knew, I think, too.
yeah, it's crazy.
I'm not throwing any names.
It's crazy.
out
It's crazy.
That's,
how
that's an insane. You talk about like the trainer,
there. Yeah,
crossing the
that's
line.
taking it to another level.
don't get
Yeah,
worse than
but-
that.
you got bad characters though in any
In everything.
profession.
Yeah.
But I'm
Can't fuck
real
kids, man.
thankful
Can't
to
do
grow
it.
up in Babylon, and I just love to see how the town's growing, and
It's amazing.
What about the fucking heads and fucking arms in the park?
that's nuts.
That is a little
Because
nuts, right?
those are my trails. I like ride my bike through those trails like half the year. It's nuts.
And
man.
then
Yeah,
they're
that's,
related.
that's a one-off. There's no, if you're playing the lottery, that's not going to happen again.
They said Babylon Village. The taxes are high. It costs you an arm and a leg.
Yeah,
But
you shouldn't get it.
that's
You using that at Governor's, that one?
Speaking of Governors, I'll be back at Governors on 420. Yeah, 420, the Giggle Room. Yeah,
cool.
It actually this will be last year around this time was the first time I ever did stand up.
Dude, your videos when you go and do those things, like when you're on the way there, are some of the fucking funniest videos ever. Like when you're nervous and shit, I fucking die laughing.
That's why I really did it, is because when I started singing, I would get so nervous, right? And I love to laugh. And I decided I was going to stop drinking last year. Friday will be 1 year, no alcohol.
Congratulations.
And I said, you know what? I want to do this. So they had like a thing at Governor's. For 10 years, I wanted to do it on a Tuesday night, but I always taught a class on Tuesday night. It was like a 3-session, class. And then on the 4th session, you're in front of a live audience. So here I'm 2 weeks sober. Got the shakes, going through probably a little withdrawals. And it's 140 people.
Oh, wow.
Jackie the Joke Man was there. I'm 9 out of 10. I had my material, but I honestly didn't think it was that funny. You know, but I trusted my teacher. He's like, TJ, you're a trainer 22 years. Can you imagine me coming to you for 4 sessions?
You had a teacher?
Yeah, so me and my friend Chelsea.
Like an improv guy?
Well, they do these little comedy colleges at Governors. So I'm like, you know, I want to do something to challenge me, you know, and I love laughing. So what could be, it was always on my bucket list to do. So it was me and Chelsea, we took this comedy college, you know, where it's basically you go in from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, whatever it is, and just learn a little bit about how to perform stand-up. But then they throw you in front of a live audience.
Yeah. And it's a big one because it's like all of the people that are in the class invite a bunch of people.
Packed.
I've been to one.
I get up there, I'm
was your
shaking.
Yeah.
I'm shaking.
Yeah.
You know, the only time I've ever been that nervous is like when I did my like first bodybuilding show. But I remember like Jerry Seinfeld saying, you gotta be vulnerable. You know, so I get up there, I'm like, I'm a little nervous, a little dizzy, lightheaded. Just gonna tell you, if I pass out, I'm not fooling around. And I really wasn't fooling around. And like I took a step back, I took a breath, and I was like, hello. And just a roar of laughter. And it was energy I've never experienced before. And I'm like, let's have some fun with this.
Nice.
And
this is great.
you know, there's a lot to it. But after I bombed a few times, you know. But then the last one, I had people crying. You know,
great.
people coming up to me, high-fiving me at the end, and it was like such an incredible natural high. You know, so now it's like I'm on a mission now to make some funny material. You know, and not just like very amateurish, like fart, dick, and shit jokes. Like other than that,
I mean,
you know,
the basics. It's just like bodybuilding. It's all good.
so it's like
Classics.
yeah. Now it's like, all right, so between the music, the comedy, the training, and like the
You
art,
dialed in.
I do all these things I love. You know what I mean? And it's funny though, like how when you would do something, embark on something like this, how many people you got like making fun of you and making comments, and it's like I kind of learned to like the art of not giving a shit, you know? And it's like, you see others who will say these comments or things like this, and it's like, where's this coming from, man?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, but
But the
when you do,
percentage of people that do what you're talking about in life is fucking zero. It's not and that's why there's so many people that have negative comments, because I think most of those negative comments are really saying, I wish I could do what it is that you're doing, but I'm too fucking chicken shit. That's what it really, because nobody does. Everybody just does what they think they're supposed to do, not what they really want to do.
you know, man, I never, up until now, in my mind, like I didn't think I would make it to this age. Because a lot of people passed away, you know, in my family at a younger age. And I just said, when I turn 40, I'm going to make an album. You know, I'm going to do comedy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I've been doing them one at a time, and each one seems to be much more nerve-wracking and like experiencing these nerves without numbing out, you know, and like really experiencing them and doing these things that force you to step out of your comfort zone. It's like the only way I find to truly, truly grow. You know, it's like,
Fucking heck.
so each experience is like a fresh wind, fresh fire, you know, and it's like, I learned not to be like off my feelings wheel all the time, like most guys are, most people are, but just to be like grounded and experience each emotion as it comes and have some fun with it.
Yeah, when you put yourself in those difficult positions you're putting yourself in, the day-to-day shit is like, you know, you could breeze through that a lot easier, you know?
Man.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I just find like constantly challenging myself and doing things that I enjoy. It just, I'm stepping into a whole new like consciousness and a whole new part of my life that I'm
Did you
enjoying
have a
it.
place where that just like snapped with that's it? You just wanted to do that, or you always said 40? This is when I want to start.
No,
doing
you know,
stuff
when I was younger, when I did redshirt from lacrosse, I took a semester off of school, and at the time I was working at a nightclub in Manhattan, and most of the bartenders there were models. So I did like a little modeling And then I did an off-Broadway show called Birdie's Bachelorette Party. Remember that Culture Club place? It was all 70s.
Yeah.
Well, it was on the second floor. So it was all improvisation. And I took an improv course at college, and I just loved it. I just had so much fun with it. And I really wanted to get into acting and all this stuff. But I ended up having my daughter,
Right.
and, falling into the training world. And then for like 10 years, didn't do any of that stuff.
Sure.
So then when I got divorced, I was like, you know what? I think I want to dive into this. I want to do a little something. So like, lost my train of thought for a second. But
Kind of like
no,
yourself in the face.
I remember like I got like a taste of the acting with the improv and some of these modeling gigs, and I was like, man, this is incredible. But the thing is, like, I can mold myself. If you're gonna pay me to mold into a character, like, I will become that person. Like, I get a super, super creative mind. So things like that, it's just fun. I love it.
It's cool, man.
That is cool.
When you did that thing at Governor's, did they like tell you guys, like, anybody that had gone through that had become like big from doing that? Like, because I know somebody who did that, who is a gigantic celebrity at this point.
Yeah, there was a few people who did it, and I would recommend anyone to do that comedy college.
Tank Sinatra.
Yeah.
He did it with our friend George.
Oh, he's great.
And he's came from that. That's his first thing he did. He was a waiter or a manager of a restaurant, and he was in it with a good friend of ours. And
Now he talks to Mark Zuckerberg on the regular.
Tank's good news.
yeah,
Crazy.
That I love that.
yeah, he was in that
pitch.
thing. And I remember it was him and our friend were like the last two guys in the thing. And I remember being there and being like, wow, I didn't expect there to be about 200 people in this room. This is fucking intense for these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those two like
Kurt,
knocked
you
it
wanna
out
do
of
it?
the park. And they did it
I'll do it.
together for a little while. And then
I'll do it too.
our friend, he's still managing a restaurant. But the other guy, but Tank Sinatra,
Well, he stopped doing it.
He did. He stopped doing it, yeah.
That's the whole thing. You got any of this type of stuff, you just got to do it.
Yep.
And if you really love doing it, you're not overly, like, people get too caught up in like what it's going to do for you or where it's going to take you or who's going to recognize you, but you really got to just do it.
You got to do it.
The more you do it, the better you get at it. And the better you get at it, the more opportunities then present themselves.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like, as long as you're enjoying it, and you challenge, growing, it's like the music. I would make music if no one ever listened to it. I love it.
Tell me about it.
It brings out like the joy and creativity in me, and it's like, it's the best therapy.
Oh, yeah.
You know how it is, Jess.
I do.
You make music?
Sometimes.
God,
Talented.
you haven't released anything in a
Talented.
long time.
I'm
I'm
fucking working for a
I
living.
got 35 days. Yeah, so am I. That's why I don't work out.
No, but you know what though? That's a bad excuse, and pretty soon,
What's your excuse for not releasing things?
we're gonna cure that soon. We got a lot of music to be
All right.
released very soon.
Let's go.
We're just figuring out, what's the angle, baby.
2024 is almost halfway there.
2027 special.
You got to hand in the work. Sometimes.
Release.
Yeah, listen.
Put a period on it.
It's with creative stuff. Probably with anything. It's not even just creative stuff. It's just we're always out to sabotage ourselves. Which there's like a little thing that lives inside of our head that you overthink everything.
So I try and help you to
you
put a period on it. Just put a period on it.
Yeah.
Set it out there. Never likes.
So, I got mine, contrary to popular belief, there's a little pussy that lives inside my head that says you're not good enough, or whatever it says, but, we're working on it.
Was it the world has changed so much too that there's just so much out there all of the time, and it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, but it's so easy to do now, it's like you get to dial into the work, figure it out, find your voice, find your style. Same thing, and it's just like, but now it's just so easy to get it out there, It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse.
100%.
It's a blessing and a curse. I can't lie and say that does not affect my thought process when it's like nothing is, because I think if we're all being honest, there is a base level of like, if you do, I'm just going to talk about the creative stuff. There's a base level of seeking validation that everybody has getting into it. Now, if you stay and you do it over the long term, it's not about seeking validation. There's something about the doing of it that brings satisfaction to you and is important to you.
It's like therapy.
It is like therapy, exactly right. But so like I think like in the cycle of you start with the desire for validation, you arrive at this therapy place and it kind of becomes symbiotic to who you are. And then on the other end, the release point, you have to grapple with the validation piece again. And so for me, when I see so much shit out there and I see like my interpretation of stuff that like either I don't think is good or people that I think are just doing it for validation and I don't think they're doing it for all the shit that it could be true, it could not be true. That gets into my head. And then I start thinking about like how I'm going to be, how I would be perceived and all of these narratives that you have that are up in your head. But, it's, I think, I don't think that I've ever met anybody that does this thing or something like this that doesn't have their own version of that thing. I think the difference maker is the people who beat it and the people who don't. You know what I mean? Like some people give up because of this thing and they stop doing it and they grew up or, they had to focus on their family or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then there are people that find a way to continue on and live this creative life. And it's very, very hard because everybody who does it, and I'm going to go even further on the subset of like everybody who's good at it, wrestles with this thing that I'm talking about.
Well, I think it takes like different shapes and forms of what the end result is.
Yes.
Doesn't always, I mean, I say that it's easy to put out there, but that doesn't always have to be the end result. There's no pressure. It's, you share it with a few people who think it's cool. That's good enough. You know?
I think putting an end to it is more important than anything else, though.
Yeah, but that end could mean a bunch of different things.
Sure, it can mean everything. But if you start something and you finish it, whether it's a book,
I agree with you. I think
you need to, and I understand you thinking of how it would be portrayed, but that's all crap. That's all bullshit.
Well, because the truth is that once you put out any creative work, it no longer belongs to you. It belongs to the universe. And the people that consume it, and it's no longer like something that happens all the time is like I make songs, right? And people will hear my songs and they'll have their own interpretation of what they think it's about. And like maybe there's some pieces and connections to what I was thinking about when I made it. And then like let's say I made it 2 years ago and what I was thinking about when I made it versus like when I'm getting it back now and what I'm thinking about. No, it's just so, it's so,
but
it's so many things.
Especially in the music situation, especially in music, it's going to hit people in all different
100%. And I agree with you that like you have to just put it out. You have to, but what fucks with me, what, me?
Yeah, go.
Sorry. Come on, go. What has fucked with me in the last few years is the whole like the template of like release culture and like I've struggled with that, like how like you got to make it formulaic so that the algorithms will like I've never wanted to really participate in that, and that has hung me up.
Well, the way you play your tambourine, I've never seen a man play a tambourine like that. You could shake that thing so good. Is that a Lindenhurst thing? Like you guys a tambourine specialist? Because you really shake that shit good.
Thanks, man.
John, do you ever watch him play that tambourine and be like, "Oh my god"?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either. I don't remember the last time I played a tambourine, but maybe you caught me at a moment when I had a tambourine handy. You
know the rule of improv. You're supposed to go with it.
I tend to be relatively flexible.
He looked at me for a second. He was like, "What? When did I play the tambourine?"
Maybe I was hitting the NPC button for tambourine.
Oh man!
But either way, we got stuff being released soon. We got it.
I want to hear it, man. I really enjoy you guys' music.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's got a very unique sound to it.
Appreciate that.
You do it right with the videos and the whole deal. That's a whole nother aspect of this. The promoting and
it's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, by the time I'm done with a song, I'm like, let's get it out already.
Yeah,
yeah, and
get it out already.
I like that idea a lot better.
But it also, I've learned like, you got to be patient. If the way I've done it, I've released 32 songs in the past 4 years, never did a video or anything like that. I just put every dime into the production, you know, where probably been a bit of an idea to calm down a little bit, you know.
Take 5.
Take a couple months, maybe do a video, the right promotions and stuff, but it's like, you know, you learn, you know.
Yeah, but here's the truth. You have them and you could always make, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think about this, like they're like assets that live forever. You could always make a video for something that you did a few years ago.
Well, the other part of it too is that they're two completely different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like making the music, which is what you're doing it for because you love it, and the end result of that is different than trying to feed this machine that needs to be fed every single day, multiple times a day, and that might change tomorrow the way you got to feed it. You just got to do it. And
that
put
brings
it out
you
there
down.
for the world, you know,
It brings me down.
It could definitely take a lot out of you, man. Like,
Unless it's natural, unless there's an idea that's going on while you're making them.
Yeah, or you have the right partner who that's what they're passionate about. You know, that's where the collaboration comes from.
yeah, that's why you guys got such a great thing with all.
We're
all
working
the
it,
aspects,
man. We're working it. You know, we see the city on the hill. It just takes time to get there.
Yeah.
That one, I think it was, we were talking about it here, the John Mayer podcast. What was it? Where was he on? Was it
Tetragrammaton?
the Rick Rubin one?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he was like, you know, he was talking about all the songs. Now, this is the fucking highest level of stardom and all of that stuff. But, you know, he's like, he says, I play these arenas and I play these songs, you know, from when we were growing up that he had that were like the hits. And he's like, those aren't even my fucking songs anymore. You know, he's like, they belong to the people in the crowd more than they do to me anymore. They don't mean much to me anymore. But it's a moment in time in those people's lives that when I play that song,
Gets that energy
they're
back.
coming back to, and they're coming back to that energy. And it was just such a smart way to talk about music, you know.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like when
Amazing.
you hear a band that you loved in high school, you hear them play, it's like, takes you
Takes you
back
to a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Powerful.
Take off your pants and jacket, you know.
God.
Old Blink 182.
Megan doesn't know what that is.
I tell you, one of my favorite bands though called Inside.
Yeah.
They came out of Lindenhurst.
Yeah.
Silent Majority. You know, they had such an amazing music scene growing up. You know, there was just all different genres. You know, all different genres that just like from the Long Island hardcore scene, then you know, Manhattan, danced some of the best DJs.
Yeah.
You know,
The tunnel.
yeah. I used to work at Twilo.
Wow.
I was I applied for a bartender, and they ended up having me do like undercover security, like not like busting people, just make sure like no one was drug overdosing or something like that. And then I worked in like a little store, but met so many people from all over the world, and just like was exposed to this like music. It was like, you know, I'm thinking typical Long Island Guido. This was like trance.
Electronic music is fucking amazing.
man.
Under the right circumstances. I mean, drugs help. I'm not going to lie. They definitely help.
But I'd be working 10-hour shifts, 10 at night to 10 in the morning. And like, oh, am I on drugs right now? But like sometimes it's just like takes you like, but you don't need, you know, nothing, maybe a little caffeine, but absolutely.
You remember there was a place in Manhattan, in like the, like way downtown, like with the cobblestone streets. I don't even know what that neighborhood, like the meatpacking district. It was called Club Cielo. Remember that place?
I haven't been there, no. But
We used to go there, man, and
you
like
go to clubs.
fucking
Crazy.
like, and it was like you're just dancing by yourself. I mean, you know, like I said,
Sweating.
Yeah.
drugs may or may not have been involved, and there's like a light beam like on top of you, and you're just like fucking plugged in to whatever's going on outside of this world,
that's wild.
and you're just there for hours, and it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Music too is like, that's a thing where like you were just saying about Inside and like Silent Majority, and as you get older, like you have new people in your life, and then they hear you, like my wife sometimes, she's like, who the fuck are you listening to this music, you know? You know, she's like, this isn't the guy that, you know, spends 10 hours a day on his computer, you know, now you're like punching the windows out of the car when the song comes on. It's interesting, you know, like the different times in your life that
People
it
that
kind
know
of like
you
transport
then.
you to.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I seen them live in Brooklyn a couple months ago. And they had like a reunion show. I'm like, I'm not moshing. I'm not moshing. I couldn't help myself. I was hurting for like several days though. It's
Yeah,
like,
I was there. I was there that day. I remember seeing you there. And the next day, I was like,
that's right.
I couldn't get out of bed. My wife's like, what the fuck
Oh,
happened
man.
last night?
It was so good.
Interesting thing about that is that leading up to that show, like, you know, you buy things, and I'm guilty of this my whole entire life. It's like, or like, you know, 3 months in advance, I'm like, I'm getting tickets to this. I got to go. The day of, I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I don't want to do this. You know, like, I don't want to go to Brooklyn. You know, I don't want to. But then I got there, and like I said to my wife when I got home, I said, I'm so happy that I went there. 'Cause
Right?
It was like
There's a lot
going
of
back
people
in
too,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot
yes.
of people that
And
you knew.
It was just such a,
Going back in time.
so thankful to grow up when we have, man. You know, just to have the interaction. Like, I think it's amazing, you know, with the cell phones and everything, you know, the access and the communication you have with people. But man, just to grow up when we did was
Did
truly
you guys
epic.
see that? You might have saw this. Not Silent Majority. Taking Back Sunday did a show in somebody's backyard in Lindenhurst.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Smith.
That looked cool as fuck.
I remember.
That was probably amazing.
Yeah,
That was probably absolutely outrageous.
it was awesome to see. I used to go to a church with John and his sister before Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was just awesome to see them blow up like that.
Yeah.
And they had a cool style of music, you know, their own style.
Yeah, there was a few
I enjoyed them for a few years.
years there where like those bands were on like TRL and like MTV and stuff, and it's like, what the fuck is happening right now? You know?
It's wild.
Pretty cool.
Because it was all people that like intersected our group. Like we grew up with a lot of those people.
It's
Like
nice when people used to talk to each other and hang out and talk to each
oh,
other. and look
fucking
at each
Kurt
other,
with
right?
the negative shit.
Yeah.
He agrees with me.
100%.
Yeah, but we're
Converse with people.
not doing the curmudgeon thing. We're not.
I'm not curmudgeon.
We're finding the positives.
The younger generation.
Exactly.
younger
Kids these
generation.
days.
Yeah. Positivity. It's a choice.
It's not about it being hell right now. It's just you know,
Hell?
Yeah.
me and my wife were talking about it the other night. It was like, you know, we used to just go, I don't know if you did the same things, but we used to just go to the schools and you would meet everybody in the back of the Lindenhurst Middle School. And I was like, what did we do?
What do you mean, Kurt? We grew up together.
Yeah, I
was
know,
in
but
the
I'm
fucking
not
back
sure.
of the middle school
I
with
don't
you.
really remember exactly what happened, but we used to just go out and talk. Everybody would talk. Somebody would have a guitar. Somebody would, you know, somebody would be talking about this. Everybody was just talking.
Well, because you didn't have any alternative.
All right, but that doesn't make it.
No,
great
I'm
that
not
it is
saying-
now, because
I'm
I
not
feel like
saying that
nobody's
it's-
conversing with anybody anymore.
There's no world where I'm saying that it's better now. But I don't want to be the guy who keeps getting older.
No, I don't
saying
want,
that
I don't want to be the guy.
things
that's
were
horrible.
only good back
Yes,
then.
yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I don't want to be that guy.
I
Because I
agree
remember
with
when
that.
I was a kid, when I was in my 20s,
Yeah, your parents
and
said the same thing.
I would meet people that were older and would say that, I'd be like, this guy's such a dick.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
I get
like,
that.
so it's something that and I have a friend who's like now he's probably like in his 70s, and he sold his business for a lot of money, but like the guy was like by the baseball card, like all the stats, like you'd think the guy was not, but he would always talk about that and always talk about how like the older I get, the more I'm interested in learning about new things, and my eyes are always open, and I want to fucking. He would go to like the opera, and he would like go to New York City and like sit on fucking benches and read books and shit. And like this guy had more money than God. He'd do whatever the fuck he wanted to do, but he was always like such a curious guy who like wanted to learn. And he was like one of those people that I met like in my life as like a signpost to say like, yeah, you know what? Not everybody's a fucking miserable fucking asshole. You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to be like that. So like, and we could sit and we could talk for forever about all the things that are weird about right now and different. But I try to be conscious about not doing that much, because then what do we have to look fucking forward to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you are that's huge, because I find myself going back.
It's hard.
Yeah, like
It's hard.
when I see, you know, like my daughter and her little boyfriend glued to the cell phone, I'm like, are you guys even here? Like, where are you? Hello? You know, like,
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah, I'll tell you though, I would highly recommend this, especially with your family or like when you get your friends. It's like ditching the cell phone for an hour.
Yeah.
Turn them off. You know, like me and my daughter on Sundays, put our cell phones in a little box and just draws us closer. It's disconnect to connect with one another.
I do that at home for the. If it wasn't for the kids, I probably wouldn't do it.
March 1st and
but
2nd
for the kids,
was
I do that.
disconnect days. Bet you nobody did it.
Oh, is it like National Disconnect Day?
Yeah. Supposed to unplug.
Yeah,
on
nobody.
March 1st and
No,
March
no,
2nd.
no,
Never heard of this.
Nobody paid attention
Never
to
heard
that.
of
We
this.
rolled right into International Women's Day. Right into
Oh, that comes first. That comes first, definitely.
Megan, how was your International Women's Day?
It was great. You know,
Yeah, is that
felt
a-
very appreciated.
Do you do anything like celebrate? Like, what's the?
No,
Did you get flowers?
no, I didn't.
I think it's a cool thing.
You do? This guy's always fucking. He's always trying to sneak under the door of the women's team.
No, I do think it is a very nice thing, and I think if anyone has shit to say about it,
Oh, we love women over here.
Yeah, women are great.
I know you love women.
We
no
love
one
'em.
loves women more than you guys.
Correct.
No, I know.
I prefer women.
Dominique reached out.
Every show.
Who's that?
Dominique Walker
Oh,
reached
oh.
out and wished me, Rebecca, and Becky a very happy International Women's Day. And she appreciates all of our work.
That's nice.
That's on brand.
Samir also emailed me, thanking me.
Wow.
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Did it pop
Interesting.
up on everybody's Facebook? That it
I'm
was International
calling.
Women's Day?
I'm calling skeptic on those though. You know, I hope they're real and they're from
When's
the
Male
from the hearts. Yeah, when is International Men Day?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
That gets to shut the fuck up.
You have enough.
Isn't that amazing?
Every day
Isn't that amazing?
is Man's Day.
It's so crazy.
It's a man's world.
We don't gotta wear makeup or any of
Great
that
song.
shit.
That's a great song. That is a great song.
Sometimes you get reminded that you're old though. Like I was just driving here, and I'm on like the service road of Sunrise Highway. Do you remember a point in time when we were like kids or like just first started driving where the roads were as bad as they are right now?
That's an old thing to say.
And that's when I was doing it, and I'm driving, and I'm shaking, like the car's shaking. I'm like, what the fuck where's my tax money going? And I was
That's
like,
a very old sentence.
because I'm gonna be 42 years old this year, and like, but I don't feel like I'm 42 years old. And like when I was a kid, and I like looking up at a 42-year-old, I don't think this is how they felt. Maybe they did. Like, I don't feel like I'm 42 years old. But then there's things like that pop up where it's
Yeah,
like,
that makes you feel old.
And you're like, oh, shit.
I'm 42. Yeah.
Well, how old would you be if you did not know how old you are?
Yeah, that's fucking,
Oh, that's interesting.
33.
I'd be honest. I don't.
33.
Other than the fact that my hair's getting a little light, I don't really think about it too much.
Keep on bringing that up every episode. It's not.
It's on my mind. What do you want me to do? It's my curmudgeon thing, you know.
Just shave it.
well, I think it's just
I
like
think I would be 30.
a level of like.
You're not even 30.
I know.
Oh, you think you're saying she's older. That's funny.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny.
No,
That's funny. But no, when you're like a kid and, like my mom was young when she had my brother and me, and it's like, I remember being whatever age and she was like 30 and he was like, he was a real adult. When I was 30, was doing some bad shit. Like not the
30.
shit of like
Agreed.
being my own mother. Well,
I agree.
you know what I'm saying though? Like back then, it's like you look up these people like, wow, these people are mature, they're adults. Who knows what they were doing? They're probably doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
but,
blowing lines off the fucking bathroom floor.
you know,
Fucking, it was big in the 80s, 70s.
sending their kids to delis with like notes to buy cigarettes for them.
Yeah, definitely.
But still though, like, now it's like I think about like my parents at this age, like were they fucking drinking weed waters?
They probably felt the same way.
Yeah, I don't think you guys are 42.
See, that's what I'm saying.
It seems like each decade, time goes faster unless you learn how to be more present
Yes.
and slow it down.
Yes.
You hear people talk about meditation and stuff like that. Like every one of us men need to learn how to meditate.
I agree
Just
with
to
you very
be
much.
present. We're not taught how to, experience each emotion as they come. Well, suck it up. So we're like,
Yeah.
we got all this going on inside our body. When you learn how to just stop, connect with your breath, and just, even if you can't focus for 10 seconds and learn how to pull yourself back in. You do that for 1 month,
Major impact.
you do that for a year, you're a completely different person. Whether you have to do it through a guided meditation. I use the Headspace app.
That's
Andy?
great.
10 minutes a day.
Mhm.
10 minutes a day. In the beginning, I couldn't focus more than 3.5 seconds. Now I can almost do the two. Sometimes, depending what day it is, but it really changes things, man.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Well, it's the interesting part of it is that when you notice that you're not doing it is when it's actually working.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the coolest thing because you're like, I'm a fucking crazy perfectionist, you know? So it's like, I suck at this, you know? But just even the noticing of the fact that you're lost in it a little bit,
It's progress.
that's working, you know? It's pretty cool.
I've noticed like when you or try to meditate, like you ever have that feeling of like when the moment when you feel your face not tight? I don't know if I'm explaining that the right way, but like if you really stop and get present and like there's like this feeling that I get to where like just general life, like I'm tensed, like my everything. But like when you stop and you can feel your facial muscles relax, I always find that to be mind blowing because it's like it's really like this moment to where like you are stressing yourself out so much about so much that's not important, and like just to feel your face muscles relax is like a kind of signpost to where like, whoa, man, you gotta fucking chill out, dude. You gotta chill out. I don't know if everybody else's face is as tight as mine.
Kurt's face is pretty tight.
The only time I feel my face relax is if I laugh too hard and my jaw hurts, and then I realize that my jaw hurt.
Yeah,
No greater feeling than belly laughing. I call them charges.
the best.
Like
oh yeah.
when you cannot do anything but just laugh.
Yeah.
And if you could do that every day of your life, that is like the ultimate
You have a
anti-aging.
different life.
Like I
You
can't
have a
believe
different experience.
how many people have not had hardcore belly laughs like in years. I'm like, that's why the great thing about comedy, you know, when you get a comedian who really makes you laugh like that, it's like the fountain of youth. It's so important to, if you're not laughing with your partner, so you gotta switch some things up. Something. It's so important that people just like my goal with the music, bring the smile back in style.
Yeah.
Bring the smile back in style, man. It's like
Cool.
we got you got it, man.
Yeah.
You got to laugh. You got to enjoy life a little bit. There's so much pressure coming from every
Inside,
aspect.
we're manufacturing our own pressure.
Yes.
That's what we're the best at.
Yeah.
For the most part, things are good for most people.
Megan, what would you say most men need to be more aware of or work on as a woman?
Oh yeah, let's do this.
Oh God. I have to try to separate this from I live with a specific man.
So all right, she's not talking about you, Michael.
No. I think they're a little, I don't know. The emotional intelligence is big. Now I live with a very emotionally intelligent man, but being able to communicate feelings properly, I think that's a big issue. Especially with men, you know, my age. I hear from the girlfriends I have dating, and they don't like to talk about their feelings if they're upset, you know.
Most of them
Transparency.
we can't even identify with the feelings.
Also that, yeah. You know, you said something before about like the masculinity and, you know, I think your generation too, the suck it up, be a man movement.
That's why a lot of guys, you know, go down at a heart attack. You know, when I started getting into this whole world of, you know, development, personal development, I went to this like 74-year-old man, and he told me, he's like, "You're a boy who could shave." I said, "What?" He's like, "You are so emotionally constipated."
That's a fucking.
And I'm like,
That is a great phrase.
all right. So he gives me a laminated list of 100 feelings. He's like, "How are you feeling?" I said, a little frustrated right now. I'm a little confused. I don't know what you're getting at with this, you know? And he had me take 5 minutes and circle every feeling. So I thought I had 2 feelings. I had 81 undealt with feelings as a man. And it's like, so many guys, you know, going around with all this, like, everybody's like one incident away from losing their shit.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, so one of the things that I like to do is I like to introduce this whole type of work to men, you know, so we could have a healthy, productive lifestyle, you know, and not being so tense all the time. You know, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, and you can be tough and resilient and also be emotionally open at the same time. Like they're not mutually exclusive
No.
things.
Yeah.
The bottling it up, it's not healthy at all.
No.
It's gonna come out.
I've never
some
had
type
an
of
emotion
way.
I haven't spoken about in my life. All I do is talk about my emotions.
That's why a lot of guys are so gassy because they got so much
Oh.
There you
undealt
go.
with emotion.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Wait, so now you say you like to
Tell my wife that's
Kurt,
the
this is a
reason why.
major episode
This
for you.
is
Yeah.
serious. I'm gonna.
This
have
is
to
like
just
fucking.
listen to
you
this
should
over
write
and
this
over
guy
again.
a check.
Yeah.
That's what I'm nervous that I have to do at the end of this. How much is this session?
Yeah, what's the call to action at the end for Kurt?
How much for Kurt to hang out
Well,
with you?
every one of you guys,
You're gonna Irish
every one of
goodbye
you
this
guys, when I open my place, I want you to come down. I want to guide you complimentary for the first
Awesome.
one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I ain't
what
leaving.
that's what I was going to ask you. You say like you like to introduce this stuff. Is it like in the training, like with the people you're working with through training, or it's a separate part of
Oh
what
no,
you've been
no.
doing?
So people think they come to me to look better, but I tackle every single aspect. So I guide you, teach you how to be your own nutritionist. I teach you breath work. I make you aware of things that you're not even aware of. So every time that you leave, you're taking on a whole new set of skills or awareness that you take on to the rest of your life. So it's the best brainwashing there is.
Brainwashing is real.
Do you
just
read a
got to
lot?
do it for yourself.
Yeah, I do a lot of audiobooks.
Okay.
A lot of audiobooks. But I've read a lot. But
Do
I
you have any
find
favorites?
yes, The Untethered Soul should be a must read.
Heard good things.
There's a chapter in there called Contemplating Death and Unconditional Happiness that is major, major life changing.
Contemplating death, is that like the exercise where you imagine your own death and like work back from it?
Yeah, it just how we have each breath, one breath at a time. It's I don't want to ruin it for you. I want you guys to read, but not only did I read that, but I've also go back to that on audio and read it. Another one I highly recommend: The Four Agreements.
Yeah, I know.
The Four Agreements is another must read. But back what changed us all is I read a book called Mind Body Mastery back when I was younger, and then also an absolute must read for every human is Hidden Messages in the Water by this Japanese scientist, and they should be teaching this stuff in school.
That sounds cool.
Yeah,
Hidden
it's
messages in
incredible
Mm.
how what we speak becomes things, and how our body is 75 to 80% water. And when he did this experiment, froze these water molecules and played music.
the water. And they tested
and
audio
just
on it,
spoke
how it
and-
reacted, right?
Yeah, and the love, gratitude,
Well, Bruce
kindness.
Lee said that shit, like to where like never speak ill of yourself
No, don't.
because your body
Yeah.
doesn't know the difference, whether or not you know what I mean. Like your body doesn't know the difference. So if you're speaking ill
I
of
truly
yourself,
believe that.
Yeah, and when he froze these molecules
It's
with
helped
love,
out.
gratitude, beautiful crystallized molecules, where the other one, like resentment, bitterness, hate, was all distorted.
Mm.
And ever since I read that book, I've been sick 2 times in 20 years.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't get sick. And I don't use the word hate. I don't use the word always, never. There's a lot of things that when we speak becomes, comes to life. So that's a huge thing. I love to make men aware of what they speak. Most guys have this story that they sell. So I teach people how to change up the story.
Kurt just fucking said
Look at that adjustment, man.
So you see that? You saw that?
That
You just
postural
went like this.
adjustment right
He
there.
fucking poshed it up. Whoa,
This
Yeah,
is
buddy.
a fucking setup.
changing
I know it.
lives in this bitch.
It's an intervention, Kurt.
This is a setup. I get it. I can
That's why
take
we
a
brought him
message.
in.
Planting the seeds.
I can take a message, people.
First he's
Fucking
getting
hey,
first he's
TJ.
getting
TJ
a
just came in
wardrobe.
here and just breathed the fucking
He's building an extra
Fucking-
room for me to live in his new place. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm going to be.
I was
Tell my
psyched
wife.
about this, man.
Tell my wife
I was
and
psyched
family.
about it. I love what you guys have going on. This is I'm
Appreciate
really
that, man.
thankful for the opportunity.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt,
I'm
so
exhausted.
you're getting a wardrobe.
Kurt's
You're getting a wardrobe makeover, and now just the whole life.
Screw the wardrobe makeover. That doesn't mean anything.
it's
I
a
can still
part of
dress
it.
the same.
Wardrobe.
What did I
Wardrobe.
say?
No, that's how I said it.
Oh.
Serious Long Island.
You got anything to plug? You got any shows? You got anything's coming up that you want to?
Yeah, so I got a new song coming out. I teamed up with a DJ,
Nice.
Trenches,
Cool.
and he remixed my song Love Remains. That's going to be coming out on 4/4. On 4/20, I will be at the Giggle Room in Governors.
Love that.
It's great.
4/13, I'll be at McGuire's in Bohemia. And just have some fun, laughable material that everybody could relate with.
420 probably people will be laughing, you know.
The 420. Oh, yeah.
Well, 420 is
Ganja
almost like
party.
every day
Yeah, it's
so-
true.
Yeah.
Every
Fucking
day.
A,
now.
bro.
Smell weed everywhere.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me,
Yeah,
fellas.
yeah.
Yes, thank you.
It's awesome.
I'm stoked about your gym. It's fucking, that place looks amazing.
Oh, bro. It's going to be something special, man.